Morning. Thanks for putting up with me, and thanks for listening to what God's speaking to me. But I'm going to talk on spiritual gifts in 1 Corinthians 12. Now, there are a variety of gifts, but the same Spirit. There are a variety of services, but the same Lord. And there are a variety of activities, but it is the same God who empowers all of them in everyone. And to each is given the manifestation of the Spirit of the common good. For the one who is given through the Spirit utters of wisdom, and to another the utterance of knowledge, according to the same Spirit, and another faith by the same Spirit, and another gifts of healing by the one Spirit, and to another working of miracles, and another of prophecy, and another the ability to distinguish between the spirits, and to another various kinds of tongues, and to another the interpretation of tongues. And in this tongues, as we all know, is the gifts available to use it, and that's not for ours. I mean, as believers, in Acts, in that one is for us as the believers to be able to use as our prayer language. But this interpretation is always to so that the non-believers know what is being said there, and to be able to interpret that. And all those that empowered by the one and the same Spirit, who apportions to each individual as he wills. And so and then we're going to get into the many parts of the body. You know, we need each other. We were talking a little bit about during COVID and that type of stuff, that, you know, we did Facebook, we did all that type of stuff, but we stayed separated. So imagine trying to separate your whole body. We need the kidneys, we need each and every part. As all believers, we need to fellowship with like believers, but they're going to have different gifts. Those are the most important things, and that's why he tells us to go make disciples, and that is to bring other people along, and to help give them the wisdom and the strength, and to bring them up from where they are. Imagine if you only ever got just what you have. You know, sometimes, like when we go out to these communities, if we didn't bring them in to do training, they wouldn't go any farther. You know, so we can go evangelize, but God never told us just to go evangelize. He always tells us to go make disciples. So, you know, here, that's why we bring them in, we do training, and to give them a further education, and to develop them into mature Christians, so that they can go back and bring their flock along. I'm going to jump down to 27 real quick to kind of end this. Now you are a body of Christ and individual members of it. And God has appointed in the church, first apostles, second prophets, third teachers, then miracles, then gifts of healing, helping, administration, and various kinds of tongues. Are all apostles? Are all prophets? Are all teachers? Do all work miracles? Do all process the gifts of healing? Do all speak in tongues? Do all interpret? But earnestly desire the higher gifts, and I will show you a still more excellent way. So the more we seek him, the more he gives us. You know, God gives us all visions of where he wants us to go. The first thing we should always do, you know, it was very impressive yesterday. It pressed a lot upon me yesterday. When we stopped in San Fernando, my phone hit the ceiling, shot out of my hand. I mean, it was like a rocket. Hit the side of the boat, went in the water. First thing I heard, I didn't hear any other confusion in that boat, but I heard someone. I don't know who it is, but I heard someone. We'll find that. And I stood upon that. I wasn't ready to come out of the water. I wasn't ready to say it's time to give up. And I knew where I felt it was. And that young man that kept looking for it. Yeah. He wasn't a believer. He didn't have any stake in that. There was no reason for him to even jump in the water. Tanner jumped in the water. You know, Eddie Berto jumped in the water. And they all went in there and went looking. But that young man was persistent on where he thought it was at. Mm-hmm. And I kept thinking, why are you wasting your time over there? And Tanner kept looking where I asked him to look. And that young man just was persistent. And it just come down to, He come up with it. And I'd have never looked over there. But the words I just kept hearing is, you'll find it. We'll find it. We'll find it. You know, and that is the faith that we have in God, to know it's all those gifts all wrapped up in one. Someone prophesied right away, we'll find it. Someone else had the gift of faith that we'll find it. You know, and that all come through the teachings and all the gifts that God has given all of us to be part of that member of our body of Christ. And those are all the gifts that God gives us. You know, and we need to continue to seek those gifts and be the mature Christians that God has called us to be, so that we can bring these next generations along. And I thank all you guys. Obviously, you guys know that because you do that. You already step out. You're in those positions of leadership with the younger kids and boys, and to bring them along to do the things. So thanks for everything you guys do, and thanks for this week. And it's been an awesome week. I greatly appreciate all your hard work and all you bestowed upon us. You know, there's a lot of wisdom that we gain by riding up and down the rivers with you and listening to you guys. And we thank you for that.